Good morning. This is November the 12th, 2024, Thursday. We are in BBIS first semester compulsory English class, where we have been reading a research paper titled Women's Entrepreneurship and Culture. In the previous three classes, we read from the beginning, paragraph by paragraph. And yesterday, we were reading section 2, or let's say 3, which was about societal culture and its influence on women's business. And we read paragraph 14 yesterday, and paragraph 14, 13, and 12. The three paragraphs, 12, 13, and 14, we saw they focus more on what is culture. They define culture. तिमी ढिलायो, तिमी बारम्बार ढिलाइरहेको छौ जस्तो नगर ल। तिमी के भएर ढिलायो बताऊ त ल? किन ढिला भयो?
जाडो भयो ढिलो उठे।
अब जाडो भएर पखन जाडो भएर ढिलो उठ्यो भने डे कलेजमा पढ्नु पर्यो, सकिँदैन भने है। मलाई नि जाडो हुन्छ, त्यही भएर चाहिँ तिमी ढिला आयो, म पढाइरहेको थिएँ, रोकेर तिमीलाई डिस्कसन गरेँ, तिमीलाई नराम्रो फिल हुन्छ, राइट? मेरो क्लासमा ढिला आउन चाहिँ हुँदैन। आजलाई मैले ल्याइदिएँ ढोका खुला भएर, अब भोलिदेखि मैले भित्र ल्याउँदिनँ। कमेन्ट जाडो हुन्छ, जाडो मौसम नै छ, जाडो हुन्छ, अब कठिन छ। त्यही भएर उसको एक्जाम्पलले के देखाउँछ भन्दाखेरि कलेजेस शुड नट बी रन इन द मर्निङ शिफ्ट, दे शुड रन बिट्विन 10 to 5। सुरुमा यस्तै थियो, सुरुमै थियो। पछि लजिक क्या भन्दाखेरि इफ यु रन इन द मर्निङ शिफ्ट दे गेट अ टाइम टु गेट जब। अब अहिले त अर्निङ लर्निङ कुरा आयो नि त। अनि 12 बजे फ्री हुन्छ, अनि जागिर खान्छ भने चाहिँ मर्निङ गरेको। अब विद्यार्थी के गर्न थाल्यो, मर्निङमा हो जाडो भएर ढिला आउँछ, 12 बजी घर घुम्दिन्छ, सुत्तिन्छ, जागिर पनि खाँदैन। जे पर्पजले मर्निङ गरेको त्यो पर्पज नै भएन कि। तर वास्तवमा कलेजहरू मर्निङमा नहुनुपर्ने हो। मैले लाइफ लङ कहिले पनि मर्निङमा पढिनँ, इन्डियामा पढेको जन्मेदेखिबाटै। त्यो मर्निङ भन्ने कन्सेप्टै थिएन, एजुकेसन इन द मर्निङ भन्ने कन्सेप्टै थिएन। एजुकेसन भनेको खाना खाने, बिहान आरामले कलेज जाने, दिनभरि पढ्ने, बेलुका आउने थियो। अब अहिले वी हेभ प्रब्लम, सरी, local came late and I got disturbed. Now we'll start from para 15. We'll read. Wherever you find phrases like previous research, understand that this may be about literature review, not necessarily, but as you write your research paper, you frequently talk about previous research. You anchor your arguments in the research done by other people. Previous research with Globe data on women's entrepreneurship and leadership has been light. When he says previous research has been light, this means it is not wide enough, deep enough, right? And this language is kind of showing the research gap. When you say that previous research is light. See the language of research. You are saying that it is not as deep as it was expected, supposed to be. So you are pointing that there are areas to explore further. This is called showing the research gap. And how do you show research gap? You show research gap as you review the literature. But surprisingly, I see the word but for the first time. I don't know. I told you last time that they rarely use but, right? They use however. Okay. But is less formal, however is more formal. But lays a foundation for future work. Okay. There is this weakness. But the good thing is that it at least creates a foundation for future research. One study shows that, now look, I have highlighted with different color because you will see, one thing you can see in this screen is, I as your teacher read this paper preparing for your class, and look how I use colors to differentiate types of information as I read. For example, I used a different color because this is something which I didn't encounter previously in the, let's say, 5-6 pages. For example, what is new thing here? One study showed that, what are you doing? You are bringing the information from your research in your argument. So when you, can I get the attendance sheet? She has come to collect it. When you do research, you read other people's writings, fine. As you read other people's writing, you have understanding on the topic, fine. Now you need to bring that understanding into your writing. And this is the language that you use to bring knowledge into your writing. Look, one study showed that, but the weakness is that, the problem here is that, understand, in research, you don't use vague expressions like one study. This is the weakness of this research paper. You must give specific name of this study. In research, you should never say, someone says, somebody said, one study says, no. That's not a good thing. This is the problem with this paper. One study showed that despite high gender egalitarianism, the level of gender equality in society, in some societies, the relative proportion of women to men remains unequal. Now, this is the finding of this study. This is the finding of this study, right? And this is the language of reporting the finding. Showed that, particularly understand the word showed that. This is the main verb, right? And look, this M dash, this is called, I don't know if it is M or it is M. I'm not sure. M dash, what does it do? Before M dash, you have the word gender egalitarianism. This is a particular term, technical term, which many readers may not understand. So what do the writers do? Whenever you use a technical term from your field of research and you think your audience may not understand, so use an M dash. And what is this one? Look here. The level of gender equality. This is the definition. This is the definition. This is the definition. And this is the technical term. And what do we learn now? Whenever you use a technical term, define the term so that your audience can easily understand as they read, right? And you will see this happens in many places in the paper. Okay, so M dash in research language, this punctuation is used to paraphrase a term. This is the paraphrase. This is the paraphrase. And this is the term. Despite high gender egalitarianism. So gender egalitarianism means the level of gender equality in society. In some societies, the relative proportion of women to men remains unequal. The number of men and women is unequal. Even in Nepal, if you see data, I heard that the number of men is higher than number of women in Nepal. And now there is an argument that now boys won't be getting girls to marry soon because the number of girls is getting down because people are having, unfortunately, selective abortion. Because people are having selective abortion, the number of girls is going down, and this is a serious issue. Okay. And now look, this information that there are more men and or there is inequality between number of men and women. This information comes from a resource by Chow, published in 2005. This is in-text citation. And understand, please, one important thing, understand. People make mistake here. This full stop always comes after the citation, not here. Not here. Many students put full stop where the sentence ends. Please understand, keep in mind that this your punctuation, period mark, full stop comes after the parenthesis or bracket. What do you call? You call this parenthesis, right? Parenthesis, I don't know, mathematical language. Other work found that, no, this is a weakness. They shouldn't write other work. They should mention what work, right? So when you write your thesis in future, don't use such expressions. Other work found that organizations with more women in management. Now look, see the language. Here, showed that. See the language. Showed that. Here, found that. Make a list of such verbs in your note copy so that you know how to say. See the verb, show, to express finding. Find. Other work found that organizations with more women in management had cultures that were high on humane orientation. So if there were more women in management in any organization, let's say if LSCM has more women, what will happen? Then the management will be more humane oriented. There will be more fairness. It's interesting to me because I work at the university and in academic staff we have only one female teacher. I wish we had 50-50, right? And in the administration I have more female but only one male. There is gender inequality as we're reading here. So when there are more women in management, girls in this class may be happy because something positive about you. Your management is fair. You are more generous. The management is generous. The management is more caregiving. The management is more kind. So it is humane orientation. When? If there are more women in management. Now, there is more gender equity. There is more gender equity and performance orientation if more women are in management. If a management team has more women, what will happen? There is more gender equality, equity, and that is more performance oriented. How? There is more innovation, there is more improvement, there is more excellence. High on, now low on. What do you see here? In this paragraph, you see comparison. This paragraph uses comparison contrast structure. It is comparing and contrasting what? Higher gender egalitarian societies and lower gender egalitarian societies. It is telling what happens if in a society men and women are treated equally, and what happens if in a society men and women are treated unequally. So if they are treated equally, such management is humane oriented, fair, generous, caregiving, kind. There is more gender equity, there is more performance orientation, there is more innovation, improvement, excellence. Now, opposite to it, imagine there is a society which has gender inequality, right? Number of men and women in organizations is unequal. Like as I said in my university, we are 20 male teachers and only one female teacher. There are, in the administration, there are 5 women, only 1 man. Now what will happen if that happens? Low on power, I made a mistake. Low on power distance. I made a mistake. Let me correct myself. It is continuing. So if there is equality, there will be less power struggle. There will be less power struggle and less authoritarian attitude, less power distinction, and less status privilege. Now this information, this argument that if there is gender equality in a society or in an organization, it will have positive impact on management. Now come here. Another study demonstrated that, now look, showed that, see the language, found that, see the language, demonstrated that. What do you learn here about research language? Use variety of verbs. Use variety of verbs. You can consult a thesaurus, for example. You know what is a thesaurus? Thesaurus is a dictionary that gives you synonyms and antonyms of words, entries. Thesaurus is a special kind of dictionary. If you want to know what is the synonym for so, consult, it will give you more ideas. Okay. Another study demonstrated that. Now don't use this vague expression another. Mention the study, like globe. Okay. Another study demonstrated that in lower gender egalitarian culture, I said it is comparison. In lower gender egalitarian cultures, women were rated by their supervisors lower in work-life balance than men. Maybe because the supervisors were men. When a man is supervising a woman working under him, chances are there will be gender bias. There will be gender bias. In lower gender egalitarian cultures, women were rated by their supervisors, I guess the supervisors were male, lower in work-life balance. What is work-life balance? Work-life balance, I'm not clear about the meaning of this word, but I guess the meaning of this word may be how many women join the workforce, how many women come in the workforce, and how many remain outside workforce, taking care of family, than men. And this mattered for women, not men, in their performance appraisal. For example, I'll give an example of this beautiful example. See, suppose a supervisor is a male. Imagine a supervisor is male and there is a woman working under his supervision. Now this woman is pregnant and now this woman frequently takes leaves to go to hospital for checkup, and she has many problems. As a result, her performance at the workplace is being affected. Now the year ends, and when the time for performance appraisal comes, the male supervisor may give her C grade rather than B grade or A grade. Though she is sincere, doing fine, but because she sometimes takes leaves from the office to go to hospital as she's pregnant, now the male supervisor may be biased and he may give her a lower grade. Do you see the seriousness? Right? Whereas if the supervisor was woman, that won't be the case. Now what is happening here? There are more males, lower gender egalitarian. There are more men in the office supervising women, and then women suffer. This. Now I pointed with the arrow. Whenever you find this is called pronoun marker. We call this pronoun marker, a pronoun reference. So this refers to this word women. This means women being rated negatively. This was not found in high gender egalitarian cultures. I told you this paragraph is comparing the two cultures. Culture 1 that has more equality between men and women. Culture 2 that has less equality between men and women. And it is telling the difference. Because if there is more equality, less problems. If there is less equality, more problems. We are studying societal culture. Look how societal culture affects. This was not found in high gender equality cultures. Now this information is coming from this source. Linus and Judic, I don't know how to pronounce, 2014. Now full stop comes after the parenthesis. More recent work on collectivism and women's entrepreneurship found that, now he repeats the verb now. Now he repeats because this came once earlier also. And I'll tell you, don't write like this, more recent work. Mention the work. Autonomy to pursue individual goals in group individualism means you are in a family, your mother, grandmother, father, sister, brother, and you are one daughter. Now in group individual means though you are in a family, but you have that individual freedom to do business in the area you like. Autonomy means independence. To pursue individual goals combined with support from the in-group. Now what is collectivism and what is individualism? These are cultural values. Collectivism means I always support other people. If I am collectivist, I will always consider how my behavior will impact other people. I am more considerate about other people's concerns. If I am individualist, I consider less about other people, I consider more about myself. Like Nepal is a more collectivist culture, but it is slowly getting individualist culture. America is highly individualist culture. Highly. Okay. Combined with support from the in-group creates the best condition for women to develop. Now look, very important point they make here. Pay attention and note down if necessary. What creates the best conditions for women to develop business? We have a solution here. Here we have a problem, right? Here we have a solution. What creates best conditions for women to develop? Here is the answer. Freedom to do your business as you like and family support. When individualism and collectivism are combined, women can do better business. Means, what does it mean? Give women individual freedom to do kind of business they want. And once they say, I'll do this business, the family should provide support, the society should provide support. Especially in cultures with extreme levels of institutionalism. Means cultures where there is families very strongly controlling women, where schools controls women, where colleges control women, where other social institutions control women. Collectivism, highly collectivistic or highly individualistic, and the macro societal level. So, if you want women to develop business, You do two things. One, give them individual freedom to choose the kind of business they want to do. Second, give them complete family and social support. Okay. Now you will see that the third section, societal culture, is very brief. You have only 1 or 2 paragraphs, maybe 2 paragraphs, right? 14, 15 or maybe 13, 12, 13. Section 3 contains, let's check. Section 3 contains paragraph 12 to 15. 12 to 15, 3 paragraphs only. Now we move to section 4. And if you are careful readers, students, you may have paid attention to the fact that in this article, look, all the subheadings have been numbered. They have been numbered. So this is organization of the information. You know, it's very easy to navigate the research paper. There are numberings. So the entrepreneurial environment. This is the last theme in the title. If you see the title, this is the last theme, right? Now let's read. A supportive environment for women's entrepreneurship requires unified system with reciprocal features and an entrepreneurially constructive culture. In paragraph 15, last sentence, you saw that if you want women to do better business, give them individual freedom and give them collective support. So paragraph 15 at the end said how to help women. How to help women. Now paragraph 16 is developing that idea. How to help women. One, supportive environment. What is supportive environment for women's entrepreneurship? Number one, requires unified systems. All social systems should work together to help women with reciprocal features. And there is a language problem. I don't know why this happened. This is an. Okay, sometimes in research papers also you see such fault. This is not good. It mars the quality of the writing. And an entrepreneurially constructive culture. Now what is that? What is entrepreneurially constructive culture? A culture where women are encouraged to do business. A culture where everyone encourages women to do business. This includes now, what does this mean? This is a pronoun reference. This means unified system and entrepreneurially constructive culture. So what is entrepreneurially constructive culture? Number one, there should be more investment for women's business. Number two, there should be more human and financial capital available for women's business growth. More human resource and financial capital. Human capital and financial capital. Human means people, worker, right? For growth. And a mixture of innovative and progressive institutional and infrastructural provisions. Institutions should support women. Economic, industrial infrastructure should support women. And this information comes from Below et al. 2019. Gendered aspects of policies. What is gendered aspect of policies? Means government policies, how they discriminate between men and women. Government policies, how they discriminate between men and women. Gendered aspects of policies, laws, and cultural expectations are often not transparent, not clear, and subtle. Subtle means very minute, but are deeply rooted in rules, practices, and norms, and they affect women's business. So the writer is focusing, look, what is focusing on? He is focusing that our cultural expectations should support women. Our laws should support women. Government policies should support women. Rules should support women. Social practices should support women. Norms should support women. Right? One of my students, I once talked, she has a fancy shop near Gongabo. We were talking and I said, के business गरिरहेको छौ त अंग्रेजी एमए इंग्लिश पढ्यौ टिचिङ गराए भए हुन्थ्यो. She said, हस्बेन्डले यही गर्ने भन्नुभयो, यो फ्यान्सी पसल छ. I talked, के बेच्छौ? Then she said, लेडिजहरुको लुगाहरु बेच्छु मैले. Then out of curiosity I said, तिमी केटी मान्छे पसलमा बस्छौ, लेडिज लुगा राख्छौ, अनि जेन्ट्सहरु लुगा किन्न आउँदाखेरि कस्तो हुन्छ? जेन्ट्सहरुले फिमेल लुगा किन्न आउँछ भनेर सोधे के. अनि कम आउँछ भने. अनि जेन्ट्सहरु फिमेल लुगा आयो भने तिमी फिमेल बसा काउन्टरमा चाहिँ उनीहरुलाई लुगा माग्न अप्ठ्यारो हुँदैन? I said. Right? And then she said, हाम्रो पसलमा दुईटा सेक्सन छ. एउटै पसल हो. यतापट्टि म बस्छु, मेरो सेक्सनमा फिमेलको जम्मै वार्डरोब राखेको हुन्छ, उता हस्बेन्ड बस्नुहुन्छ, मेलको राखेको हुन्छ. This was interesting. Why was it interesting? Because she made me realize that it's still very difficult for a man to go on a counter where there's a female sales girl, let's say, and ask for a man's underwear, for example. Or imagine a girl goes on a counter where there's a male as a sales boy and she asks for lingerie or female's inner garment. It's cultural thing. It's cultural thing. So what she says, we both stay in the shop. So for men, the husband sells. For women, I sell. Right? I gave this example focusing on this word norm. This is a problem for women. This is a problem. Right? Do you see? Both of them have to be in the shop. Okay, move ahead. Impartial legal and commercial systems. Look, the law should not discriminate between men and women. Commercial systems should not discriminate between men and women. That ensure equitable access to financial capital. As I told you last time that I once read in Dhading, when women go to bank for loan, for agricultural loan, banks don't give them any money. महिलाहरुको समूह रहेछ धादिङमा, उनीहरुले खेतीपाती गर्न लोन गरेर नदिने बैंकले. महिलाहरुले चाहिँ गर्न सक्दैन भन्ने सोच. त्यही चाहिँ लोग्ने मान्छे गयो भने दिने. अनि लोग्ने मान्छेले के गर्ने? भैँसी किन्ने लोन ल्याउने, रक्सी खाएर सिध्याउने. बेइमानी गर्ने. लोग्ने मान्छे लोन चाहिँ दिन ल्याउने अनि ल्याएर अरु काममा लगाउने के. अरु काममा खर्च गर्ने, तास खेल्ने. अनि सफर को गर्ने? महिलाले सफर गर्ने, घर इलाम हुन्छ. महिलाहरु त्यस्तो गर्दैन. लोन ल्याएर खेती नै गर्छ, तर बैंकले महिलालाई नपत्याउने. See the tragedy. I read this in social media few months before, right? So women should have equitable access to financial capital, promote cultural expectations, practices that support women's business, encompass a productive and supportive entrepreneurial ecosystem for women. What is entrepreneurial ecosystem? The relationship between organization and society. Ecosystem is where one item is connected to another item and dependent, right? And this information comes from Brush et al. 2018, right? And Hekavaria and Ingram 2019. Now what I do at home as I prepare for your class, one thing that may help you how to read. At home when I prepare your class, for every paragraph, I develop questions like this. Look. And if I can develop a pertinent question based on a paragraph, I know I have understood the paragraph. So one technique to be more effective reader at college and university is, if you are reading something very difficult like this one, read the paragraph and think your understanding, and then imagine that you are a teacher now, and you want to set a test for a student based on the paragraph. So what will be the question you will ask them? And write the question. And review the question. If your question is accurate, understand that you have got the paragraph essence. This is one very good technique. Composing questions for what you read. Okay. The attractiveness of entrepreneurship to women can be altered, changed by the rules and policies that influence the regulations and costs associated with owning a business. This is a topic sentence. And if you ask me, Divakar sir, how I can prepare an outline of this research paper, if I have sent a PDF file, you will see that if you just copy all the first sentences of paragraphs highlighted in yellow, you will see there are all the claims. Each time I read, what I do normally, if I highlight the opening sentence of a paragraph with yellow color, that is the main point of the paragraph. That is the argument, that is the claim of the paragraph. And if I note all these 17 paragraphs, now I can note 17 sentences. Just. So in those 17 sentences, I summarize 17 paragraphs. I can summarize 17 paragraphs in just 17 sentences by copying the yellow highlighted sentences at the beginning of each paragraph, sometimes not at the beginning, later on. Read. The attractiveness of entrepreneurship to women can be changed by rules and policies that influence the regulations and costs associated with owning a business. Now what are they saying? We can attract women for business. How? By changing the rules and policies which affect the control of business. Regulation means control, right? And cost. This is the main idea. Now read ahead how he supports the main idea with examples. Therefore, a conclusion marker. The professional networks that women create and an encouraging ecosystem are critical. Now, let women create their network. Ama Samuha was introduced in Nepal decades ago by World Bank. And Ama Samuha has been very effective in village areas for women's economic development, right? You will see Baini Samuha, I don't know many, but you will see these days if you Google or if you social media, women have different associations, right? So encourage their network, right? And networking helps women overcome gender-based limitations. When women come together, they are more confident and they are not afraid of men dominating them. To entrepreneurship by helping them access resources. Look, when women make network, banks also may trust them. Financial information they can obtain, and capital, and identify new business opportunities. For example, if there is a network, they have a Facebook page, then one woman can tell, oh yes, somebody can follow that. Right? मेरो एकजना नजिकको नातेदार हुनुहुन्छ, नाम भन्दिनँ, दाजुभाइ भित्रको, उहाँ इन्डिया बस्नुहुन्छ, अनि उहाँले के सुरु गर्नुभयो भने उहाँको हस्बेन्ड चाहिँ मेरो भाइ के अरे आइटीमा काम गर्नुहुन्छ, अनि बुहारीले चाहिँ बच्चा हेर्नुपर्छ घरमा, जान मिल्दैन हैन, अनि उहाँले के सुरु गर्नुभयो, युट्युबमा चाहिँ एउटा जानुकाज किचन भन्ने एउटा च्यानल खोल्नुभयो, अनि उहाँले चाहिँ त्यो मिठो मिठो चिजहरू बनाउनुहुन्छ घरमा, अनि भिडियो हाल्नुहुन्छ, कति धेरै सब्सक्रिप्सन छ, मान्छेले हेर्छन्, अब भोलि हुनसक्छ कसैले अर्डर गर्ला हैन। मैले तपाईँलाई इक्जाम्पल दिएँ नि, मेरो एउटा विद्यार्थी दीक्षा सिंह भन्ने, फेसबुकबाट उसले चाहिँ लाखौँको व्यापार गरिरहेछ अहिले, घरैमा खाना पकाउँछ, अर्डर आउँछ, घरैबाट सप्लाई गर्छ, राइट? सो वाट एक्जाम्पल आई गेभ, व्हेन देयर इज अ नेटवर्क, one woman can give idea to other women to follow. Networks are often comprised of private spheres, right? Kinship, so you can make network of uncle, auntie, didi, baini. Friendship, you can make network of BBIS girls. And business or professional ties. You can make networks based on your organization. And influenced by such networks are affected by religion. They can also be affected by mistrust. They can be affected by culture. They can be affected by societal expectations. So this paragraph is now, do you realize from this side, they have started talking about how to help women. Now they are talking about how to help women. So far, they were talking what problems women have. Now they're telling how to help women. Because women have been found to face more gender-based barriers. I remember, I'll speak in Nepali, very emotional thing. मेरो घर पछाडि एकजना हुनुहुन्छ, उहाँ भन्नुहुन्छ हुँदैन, उहाँ एउटा जातको हुनुहुन्छ, नेवार हुनुहुन्छ. उहाँको कान्छो छोराले बाहुन केटी इन्टरकास्ट गरेर बिहा गरेर लिएर आयो. अनि घरमा अलि अप्ठ्यारो पर्यो हैन, अब नेपाली कल्चर हो. छोरो बाहुन नेवार केटाले बाहुनी केटी लिएर आयो, बगार लिएर आयो. घरमा किच भइराख्ने. अनि त्यो बुहारीले चाहिँ आफै केही गर्छु भनेर ब्युटी पार्लरको ट्रेनिङ सिकाएर रहेछ. अनि उसले मेरो घरमा आएर मेरो मिसेसलाई, आन्टी मलाई यो सटर दिनु न, भाडा मैले यहाँ ब्युटी पार्लर खोल्छु भन्यो. सटर खाली थियो, हामीले ठिक छ गर नि त भन्यो, दियौँ. उसले खोल्यो. खोलेपछि इनअग्रेसन गर्ने बेलामा आन्टीलाई बोलायो, लेडिजहरूलाई बोलायो नि त. अनि इनअग्रेसन भइरहेको थियो, छिमेकको एकजना नेवार दाजु आउनुभयो कि. हेर्नुहोस् है, एटिच्युड हेर्नुहोस्. मलाई अप्ठ्यारो लागेको छ भन्नलाई. यहाँ छातीको रौँ फाल्न पाइन्छ कि पाइँदैन होला भन्दै आउनुभयो. त्यो के गरेको? हेपेको हो, डमिनेट गरेको हो, इन्सल्ट गरेको हो नि त त्यो लेडीलाई. अनि भोलिपल्ट पनि आउने रे कि त्यसरी जिस्काउने, जे पाइ त्यही बोल्ने रे कि. अनि त्यो बिचरा बहिनी केही बोल्दैन थियो कि. केही समय चलायो, अनि पछि त्यहाँ जुत्ता चप्पल पनि थप्यो. अनि पछि घरमा बढी किचकिच भएपछि छोडेर कता गयो थाहा छैन, कहीँ गयो, छोडिदियो, हस्बेन्डलाई नै छोडिदियो कि. हस्बेन्ड पनि अर्को बाटो लाग्यो. एक्जाम्पल के को दिएँ मैले? के को दिएँ तपाईँलाई एक्जाम्पल भन्दाखेरि जेन्डर बेस्ड ब्यारियर्स. एउटा बिचरा लेडिजले ब्युटी पार्लर खोल्यो भने लोग्ने मान्छे के भन्दै जाने, त्यहाँ यहाँ छातीको रौँ खुर्किन पाइन्छ भन्दै जाने. यो नेपाली सोसाइटी छ, राइट. धेरै गाह्रो छ, महिलाहरूलाई धेरै गाह्रो छ. To securing capital for their business is another problem. They can't get money, such as inherent gender bias. Capital funding, I told you, banks are not willing to give loan to women. They secure a smaller amount of investment, I told you, and fewer bank loan, I told you. Now look, here the proof. To help women, you must overcome these obstacles. A supportive entrepreneurial environment should be there. Now, what is a supportive entrepreneurial environment? What is the solution? Look here. This includes policies that encourage financial institutions to market investment funds and loan products to women directly. जस्तै हेर्नुहोस् नेपालमा संविधानले चाहिँ के अरे 32% कि कति 32% महिला हुनुपर्छ भनेर निर्णय गर्यो हैन. पोलिटिकल पार्टीले गर्दैनन्. गरे भने कसलाई गर्छन्? सालीलाई, श्रीमतीलाई, आफ्नै भतिजीलाई, छोरीलाई राख्छन् संसदमा. देख्नु भएको छ? See the problem, political problem. So the banks, they should flow more financial fund to women directly and create and assign specific financial products explicitly for women entrepreneurs, attracting more female investors and look, another, attract more female investors, establishing funds led by women. For example, I hear that some of the private banks have female CEOs, very rare, one or two. Right now I don't remember the name of the bank. I heard recently that some banks have appointed females as the CEO. So I believe such banks would flow more money for females, right? Should help to create more gender equity in funding practice. So you have solution, right? You have solution now. Now paragraph 18. Now move to 19. Now you have 0.5 samples and data set. Understand, I won't deal this in detail, but this is less important. When you write management thesis tomorrow in future, at one point in your thesis, you will have to talk about where you got your data from. You must talk about where you got the samples of analysis. This does not happen in literary research, but it is compulsory in your kind of research. So in future, in 7th semester, when you write research paper, your research paper at one point will include this information. Now I'll be very fast here. Oh, they talk about where they got the primary data, where they got the secondary data, right? For example, they say primary data come from large global databases, like they mention here, source Globe Project. They are telling the source of the data. They are telling the source of their data. For example, I won't read. They are mentioning the sources here, where they are getting the data from. This one I'll mention. This is important. 9 culture dimensions are discussed in this essay. You should note down and keep in mind. What are they? This essay discusses women's business in relation to gender egalitarianism. It discusses how uncertainty avoidance affects business. But so far, we have come to paragraph 19. I haven't found this discussion. It's interesting. I didn't see this topic being discussed. Maybe this is a weakness with the paper. Power distance, it mentions. Future orientation. This is also not discussed so far up to paragraph 19. Humane orientation, this is discussed earlier. Performance orientation, this is not discussed. Assertiveness, this is discussed. This is discussed. So I see there are 9 dimensions. Some dimensions are not discussed yet. Let's see if they are discussed below. Paragraph 20. 2 studies use data from World Bank. See the source, right? Source of data. This is the source of data. I won't go in detail. Not very important. I'm simply showing you how to show your data sources in your research paper. Then paragraph 22. 3 other studies they say. Look, they mention the name of the authors of their study. Right? 20, now 21. Let's check 21. No, 22, right? Have patience. I'm about to give you a break. Wait a minute. 22, now 23. Okay. 23. So they talk about articles. You read this paper or this journal, this edition talks about 8 articles in this issue, right? Now we know collected their primary data where. Now the source is given. I won't go in detail. Now this part is important. This part is important. You must read and understand carefully the articles in this issue. Now, because here they are very briefly outlining what is in each article. By applying the family embeddedness perspective and a multi-level view of culture, Feldman, Lux, and Lerner analyze gender norms at the family and society level. In their article, Disentangling Succession and Entrepreneurship, Gender Gaps, Gender Norms, Culture and Family, Article 1, How many articles are there? 8. How many? 8. Article 1. With a sample of 2,897 young adults in 11 European countries, the results show, see the language, their results show a significant relationship between gender identity and career status. Women were found, see how you report finding. You mentioned the article, and you are reporting the finding. To be more likely than men to be an employee in a family firm than a successor, but no significant differences were found in the likelihood of women being founders. The authors found nuances that, now what do you see? It was in this article, there was an interesting finding. What was interesting finding? Women, even if they had a family business, they could be just employees in their family. They could not succeed the family business. Why? Maybe the sons inherited the business. How? This is something very bitter. Just imagine this girl has 2 brothers also, and the family owns a business. Then in next generation, she gets married, and now her brother inherits the business, and her brother says, Didi, aija na अब अन्त किन काम गर्छस्, यही काम गरौँ. And her brother gives her a salary, whereas she should have a legal right in the business, right? See the problem. बाउको व्यापारमा छोराले चाहिँ इनहेरिटेन्स गर्ने, तर छोरीले जागिर खाएर बस्नुपर्ने त्यही. लुक कति 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 तितो कुरा छ, कति तितो कुरा छ. सुन्दाखेरि त्यही भएर ध्यान दिएर पढ्नुपर्छ. हाउ वुमेन आर अफेक्टेड, राइट? हैन, बाउको व्यापार त बराबर बाँड्नु पर्ने हैन छोरा, तर छोराले पुरै इनहेरिट गर्ने, सक्सिड गर्ने, छोरीले चाहिँ इम्प्लोइ भएर काम गर्ने, राइट? दे वर नट रिगार्डेड एज फाउन्डर्स. I'll give a break when I finish this paragraph. Just a minute. I'll give a break. The authors found that women with child care responsibilities who live by traditional gender norms and have a self-employed mother are more likely to be a successor than being either an employee or a founder. Now difference. Look, if a woman has child care responsibility and have a self-employed mother. Now look, those women who had self-employed mother, they inherited the business not as an employee but as a founder, let's say. A finding that reverses gender identity main effects. The authors theorize the explanation of these findings by employing an understanding of culture in occupational choice and a family emeritus perspective, which explains that, look, see the language of finding, how you report the finding. The authors theorized that, finding that, which explains that entrepreneurship is inextricably intertwined with the family-related role. If a woman has child care responsibility, she is a successor of business. And caregiving responsibilities, Fieldman, Lukes and Ulaner proposed that caregiving, now look how we report the finding. Caregiving may lead women to become self-employed and primarily into succession as opposed to founding, because family business can help daughters balance child care and career. Family business. If there is a family business, daughters can take care of their babies and also continue with business. So we stop here at paragraph 24 and we give a break for 5 minutes. Take a break. In the second session, we'll read ahead. I'll again emphasize, we are reading something very serious and I require your utmost care and patience in this class. Thank you. Take a break.